Welcome, friends. Welcome to the first episode in our Cracking the KFC recipe series. And I thought I'd start off the first episode answering a bunch of questions that I know we're going to get in the comment section. And the first question or comment is probably going to be why? Why bother? Why bother trying to recreate KFC? There's much better fried chicken out there. And you're right, there probably is much better fried chicken out there. There is much better fried chicken out there. If I was going to recreate fried chicken, I'd probably start with Gus's in Memphis. That would be my fried chicken of choice. But KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is the original. It's the one that everyone knows. It's all over the world. I say KFC, and everyone on the planet is going to know what I'm talking about. So because of that global stature, it is probably the one that we could start with because everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And in terms of global numbers, KFC is number 4 or 5 globally in terms of fast food restaurant outlets. The next largest would be Popeyes, I think, at like 25th on that list. So KFC being first, being the largest, is the one that I'm going to go with. And everyone pretty much agrees that KFC was great. It was great before the Colonel sold it to corporate interests. And there's a huge online movement of people who work very hard trying to figure out how to capture that pre-1964 flavor. What was in that chicken? And so can we recapture some of that magic? Can we create a KFC recipe that is more like the KFC recipe from the 1960s? Same basic flavor profile is what I'm looking for, but just better, more flavor. Everyone seems to agree that the flavor is gone, the chicken is flavorless, the batter is flavorless. And that's not what I remember as a kid. What I remember as a kid was something that you bit into and it was like, wow, this tastes really good. And so I'd like to get back to that. I'd like to make chicken that is more like chicken pre-1964 in the US, pre-1980 for here in Canada, because the Colonel didn't sell out in Canada until after his death. The Canadian restaurants belonged to him. So we're going to try and see if we can create something that is the same flavor profile, but more flavor. Can we do it? I don't know. So as part of this, we have taken a trip down to Kentucky, and we've eaten at 3 restaurants that were all started by Colonel Sanders or by his family. And we ate chicken at each of those. And so the next video is just going to be about our trip to Kentucky and the chicken that we ate there. And we spoke to someone in Kentucky who worked with Colonel Sanders. And I learned from that person that everything I've ever read or everything I think I know about KFC and Colonel Sanders is both true and a lie. He was a very mysterious man, an enigma, in fact. One of the other reasons that I want to do Kentucky Fried Chicken is for a long time I worked in commercial production, and we would produce TV commercials, and I worked on dozens of KFC spots over the years, and I'll play some of them over here while I'm talking. And one of the things that I saw over, say, 20 years was every time KFC came in and we were shooting a spot, the recipe didn't change, but the methodology changed completely. They went from using milk and eggs to putting things into a tumbler, to not using a tumbler, to dipping in water, to 3 packages of something put into the flour, to 2 packages of something put into the flour. It was always different. And you could tell those changes were never about the quality of the food. It was always about saving a little bit of money, streamlining the process, making it easier to train employees. So that leads us to, can we take this recipe back? Can we find the flavor profile that is still there today, but ramp that up, improve the quality, and make something that you actually want to eat? And I'm going to do that in this pressure fryer. But I'm also going to work towards figuring out how we can do that without a pressure fryer. And so in order to do this, I'm going to be looking at clues in the history books. There's a great piece of film from the late 1950s with Colonel Sanders on the Tennessee Ernie Ford TV show with Minnie Pearl. And he's making chicken. And he walks them through the process of what he's doing in order to make this chicken. And he very clearly says at that point that he uses milk and egg wash.
Now, the mixture that the chicken was in, what is that, milk and...
That's milk and egg wash, yeah.
Milk and egg wash.
And so at that point, he was using milk and egg wash. Today, they just use water. They dip it in water. And the milk is powdered milk that's put in with the flour, and the egg is powdered egg that's again put in with the flour. So we're going to go back to a milk and egg wash and see if that improves everything. He also talks about the pressure that they use in the pressure fryer. He says 29 and 7/10.
And 29 and 7/10 pound pressure.
I know today they use a pressure fryer that's between 13 and 15 pounds per square inch. I think that's where it is. And some of that change can be down to the chicken. Chickens today are slaughtered much earlier than chickens were in the past. And so some of that flavor may be lost because we can't get the same chickens anymore. So I'm going to look at free range or pasture-fed chickens and see if that improves flavor. And then, of course, we're going to look at all the various spice mixes. There was a leaked KFC spice mix in 2016 that the Chicago Tribune found. We're going to look at that one. There was a guy who wrote a book, and he said he had KFC chicken tested, and there was only salt, MSG, and pepper. So we're going to try that one. There's, of course, the famous Marion K 99X chicken spices that Colonel Sanders had a hand in creating after he sold in America, but while he's still owned in Canada. There was a bunch of lawsuits around that one, so we're going to try that as well. And then there's this underground group of people that have notice boards all about deciphering that KFC chicken recipe. And they use all kinds of clues. There's pictures of the 11 herbs and spices. And they've got some really good recipes. So we're going to compare that as well. So in an upcoming episode, we're going to do 4 or 5 recipes and compare them to today's KFC and see which one gets into the right flavor profile. And then we're going to use that to sort of hopefully get to the right spot. And so will we succeed? Does anyone really even care if we succeed? Does anyone really even care if KFC chicken could taste better? I guess we'll find out. But for now, I'm having a lot of fun trying out a bunch of different recipes and seeing how close I can get to that ideal. So, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again soon.